Passport Mommy with Michelle Jerson. Motherhood is both amazing and difficult at the same time. The Passport Mommy, Michelle Jerson, is here to share in your journey.
It's amazing. It really is, just watching them grow and see how much change and how much they learn just without the filters around them.
Joining you on your greatest adventure, here's Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy.
Welcome to the show. If you listen, you know that healthy eating is a huge passion of mine for both myself and my family, especially my toddler and my 4-month-old who will soon be eating soon, who's sitting right next to me. And as I said, that gave me the biggest smile. I know he's looking forward to eating because he stares us down whenever we're eating. So today I have with me Aurora Satler. She is the author of the Ultimate New Mom's Cookbook, winner of a 2018 National Parenting Award. She is a regular writer for Mommy Nearest, as well as a food stylist, a recipe developer, and an on-camera chef. For 5 years, she worked as the creative director of Many Kitchens, an e-commerce site devoted to promoting the best small batch artisanal food throughout the nation. Hi, Aurora. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Sure. So I was on your website and I was checking out your book, and you have young ones yourself.
Yeah, so I have a 2 and a 4-year-old. I always laugh because I guess I'm like the prime marketing group for everything baby except for newborn. I've passed over that stage, but as far as like toddlerhood, I'm smack dab in the middle of it.
Oh my gosh, I give you so much credit. I just know what I'm going through with my 2.5-year-old, and I can't imagine a 2 and a 4. No, but I will have it soon.
Talking to you, it's bringing me back 2 years. So it's like 2 years back with my kids to where I was. And I was like, I give you major props, just major props for having a podcast going at this stage is so impressive.
Oh, thanks. I try. I pray every time that they just sleep or be quiet but there's plenty of episodes where that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So let's get into talking about eating, because I have to say I was really happy with myself when my 2.5-year-old was first starting to eat. I fed her so many healthy meals, just purees of all kinds of great fruits and vegetables. And now as she's older, she still eats healthy, which I love compared to, what I see other people eat. She doesn't eat off the typical children's menu. However, she still is the toddler and now is discovering more unhealthy things, especially when she's in school. So I would love to just, talk to you about your book and how you get families to eat healthy.
So that is such a huge problem because even the best efforts sometimes at the beginning, kids when they go to school, or even in daycare, they're out of your hands and out of your control for that meal time. And they are going to make their own choices. And some of them are going to be more nutritious than others. And some of them are, going to be just delicious and fun because they're kids.
Right.
But one of the biggest things about my cookbook, now my cookbook starts with pregnancy, and then it transitions to preparing for baby, meals that you can eat for the mom while she's breastfeeding, starting solids, and then transitions into toddler meals and full family meals. It works chronologically and progressively. I thought that was important because one of the hugest things that I realized as a mom was that the moms aren't feeding themselves. So if you're creating these wonderful meals, sometimes most of your kitchen efforts are going towards the child and not yourself, or at least they were for me. I was creating these amazing purees for my son, but I wasn't feeding the entire family the same quality. My husband and I would be like scrounging after we had started introducing solids to him. So the idea of my book is that everyone has to eat. And the idea of introducing solids is not to separate and have your child eating something completely different from the family, treat them like this little alien citizen in the house, but to really introduce them to the flavors of the household, introduce them to the flavors that they'll be having as more full-bodied, rounded meals. And some of the strategies I had for that are really just to maximize the return and minimize the effort. So the one meal that you're making feeds everyone in the family, from mom and dad to baby. And ways that you can do that is just separating things into component parts. A child might eat the basic first part of like a soup. Say, I actually show how we all eat purees. It's funny, purees kind of have a bad rap right now with the whole baby-led weaning, and some people saying, my kid never likes purees. But we all do, as an adults, eat purees. We eat soups, we eat smoothies, we eat sorbets, and learning how to puree something is a culinary technique. Right. So it's really just taking things in their component parts, breaking them down. So you just take that out, that step aside, and I'll lay that out in my recipes sometimes. This is a step where you pull apart, and this is baby's food, and then you continue the recipe, and then this is the adult meal. Or this is the adult meal, and these are the ways that I would introduce it. This is the ways that I would cut it or break it down for a younger eater. Because, depending on where your child is at, how old they are, how long they've been eating solids, how many teeth they have, different kids eat different ways.
Right. Exactly. But I love that idea. And that's exactly the same thoughts I had too. I was making these great meals for her, and I still do this. They're not purees, but I make these great meals. And then I'm like, and then I just kind of like eat her leftovers, eat whatever's around. Yeah. And I'm like, am I really eating? And I think I'm consuming way more calories than if I actually sat down and made myself something. So I want to hear more because I love this. Last night I tried to make her a broccoli soup in the Vitamix with broccoli, avocado, garlic, and she took one spoon and pushed it away. But she used to be really good with that. But then I ate it and it was delicious.
Yeah, I've also learned, my two different kids taught me, and also feeding their friends. The more kids that I work with, and I've started doing cooking classes with kids, the more I realize just how different people's tastes are. And you're going to hear my daughter in the background for a second because
great.
She had a fever today. So she's Lila is with us. So she's doing really well. It's just, that rules out any kind of childcare. It's just a fever. I can't really. Yeah. So my kids were completely different. And one thing that my daughter taught me, which I thought was extremely valuable, is sharing meals with your kids and how they can surprise you. And even what you said about your 4-month-old, one of the first things that we say to look for when you're starting to introduce solids is that, that excitement, that awareness of food when kids start to, they eyeball it, but then they even start to reach for it themselves. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest ways that I've conquered, picky eating or more selective eating with my son, sometimes I'll spot out his friend who I know is a better eater, and I'll have him over a meal. Because there is a power in having just that shared meal where sometimes kids will try something that they're not necessarily prone to picking out themselves if they see other people eating that. And parents are kind of the first example too. So even if your kid's not eating what you're eating or eating, all the vegetables that you hope they would or making all the healthy choices, still eating right in front of them sets that foundation, sets that example. And gives them more opportunities to try. I worked with an amazing nutritionist for the book, Alison Childress, and one of the things she said, which even shocked me as a parent, was sometimes, you might need to try something 14 times, for a kid to acquire a taste for it. I, as a chef, basically love all vegetables now. There's very few things you can put in front of me. Liver is the one thing I won't eat, and that's about it. And I will not touch liver. I'm not a big organ meat kind of person. Right. But other than that, I pretty much am an omnivore. But I remember as a child absolutely loathing broccoli and mushrooms. And truth be told, my kids will not touch broccoli in any iteration, except for I've finally created a quiche that they'll eat because it's very surrounded by eggs, buttery, flaky crust, and cheese, along with finely minced broccoli.
Right.
So
smart.
I use different strategies with them, as far as sometimes you do hide and sometimes you do, incorporate it into the meal.
Right. Exactly.
And
but what you said is
choose themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And let them think they're making the decision. Like my daughter is on a bread kick. So it's I hate that all she wants to eat is bread sometimes. Mm-hmm. But like you said, if you incorporate it into other things like a quiche or something else where you could still say, hey, it's like bread, but it has all these other things in it too. But as far as her trying certain things, you're absolutely right. When I sit down next to her and I could be eating the exact same thing that I made for her that she just said she didn't want. And all of a sudden, oh, Mommy, what's in your bowl? And she starts reaching in and eating. And I say, here you go.
Yeah, my kids will steal off my plate. That's actually how I discovered my daughter's just intense love of pesto. I mean, She has crazy strong taste. We have a wonderful, so when I give myself, a little break from cooking, because we all need that, when I'm ordering in, we have an amazing Indian restaurant that delivers, and their chicken zag is delicious. My daughter will cry if she doesn't get that, and that's full of spice, full of flavor, really intense flavors. My son won't touch it, but I don't know. I kind of love the facts that they will steal food off my plate, and maybe sometimes I do discover new things and try out new things with them that way.
Exactly. So we have about a minute left in this segment, but I want to keep talking with you. So before we run to break, just tell me again, where can people find the Ultimate New Mom's Cookbook?
So the best place to find my book is on Amazon, where all moms shop. It's very convenient, and you can buy it either in a Kindle version or in paperback.
Perfect. We're talking with Aurora Satler. She is the author of the Ultimate New Mom's Cookbook. And I love it because she takes you from pregnancy all the way through your toddlers and older. And we're going to talk with her more coming up in just a few. And I'm especially interested in hearing recommendations for when you are pregnant. I'm Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy. Don't forget, you can follow us on social. All of the social handles are Passport Mommy. More coming up in a few.
Motherhood is a journey. Joining you on your greatest adventure, here's Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy.
And I'm here with Aurora Satler. She's the author of the Ultimate New Mom's Cookbook, and we're talking about how to get your toddler or infant to eat what you're eating, or just to eat really good meals and purees. And one thing I have to say is when I first started pureeing for my infant, my daughter, she's now 2.5, and I'm about to do it again, was, oh my gosh, do I have enough freezer room? And how do I store everything? Because you really shouldn't have to prepare every single meal. You can really prepare and save. Is that right?
Yes. So the fastest way to do purees and to store them, you can store them for a long time in the freezer. If you have just a standard ice cube tray, that's a wonderful way to portion size it, because you don't want to store it as a block. You don't want to freeze it as a block. You want to freeze it in individual portions so you can kind of pull what you need as you need it. That's especially wonderful for parents who are dropping off at daycares. Another thing that I actually worked with a company because I wanted to have, give back to the environment as well with my book. And I noticed that there's a lot of waste with the food pouches, but they do sell reusable food pouches. And especially if you're consistent about making your own homemade baby food, a reusable food pouch is a wonderful way to store that. A lot of times they're dishwasher safe, freezer safe, and very easy to use. And even the infant themselves, if you twist the cap off for them, they can squeeze it into their own mouth. It's great for travel as well, meals on the go, and for healthy snacks. Even for my toddler now who might, not want something else, that I can sneak in a lot of wonderful things through a delicious smoothie. And he will willingly and gladly drink that.
Exactly. My
another
toddler
way
has
to do,
gone back to food pouches. Oh, no, I was just going to say my toddler has gone back to food pouches. She hadn't eaten them for so long, and now it's all she ever wants. So I agree with you.
They're
Go
fun.
on. Yeah.
They're fun. I mean, even if it's just something like applesauce you're making, which is perfectly in season right now, 2 ingredients, water and apples. And there you go. It's a nutritious meal for your kids. Even a kid who doesn't have that many teeth can enjoy that. Or it's great for upset tummies. And I was going to say another thing for freezer space is it doesn't take a lot of food to feed a child for a long time, especially if you're just starting. So you don't have to do, these massive batches. You might be getting in just a couple spoonfuls at a time. And some kids, you might think they're 100% ready. You actually start trying to introduce solids to them, and you might be a little disappointed because they might, just like took a couple dibbles of a spoon. They might lick it. They might have no interest whatsoever. I have in my book, another thing is just basically no cook purees. For people who really want to get started and don't want to cook anything, think about the foods that you can just mash up and serve, or just mash it very fine. Avocado being a wonderful example of that, which has a lot of healthy fats in with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, avocado. I found banana was really good. Or
banana's amazing. It's just natural, and that's another one too. I try to come up with these ones too, because if you're packing for a vacation, you've just started solids. Sometimes you don't want to bring a food, anything to like puree your food or rice your food as you go. Right. But, you pack an avocado, you pack a banana, you're pretty good. You can pack, you can pick up the pouches for when you go as well. Some kids do also prefer to go immediately into softly chewed foods. Mm-hmm. My daughter was a child who was much more prone to picking out her own food, holding her own food. She really loved to hold things. I learned that instead of teethers, which I got very frustrated with because they basically have no nutritional value, those little teething crackers.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I learned with my daughter that sourdough bread, if she could hold it herself, she could mop up a sauce with it, and she could just crunch it, bite it, chew it, and just loved it. And I was like, well, this is wonderful. I was like, this is a wonderful bread that I'm giving to her. I enjoy it as well, and it's a heck of a lot more nutritious than those crunchy crackers.
Absolutely. No, I love coming up with all different alternatives because, it's really easy to just go to the store and buy what's easy. But like you said, not always the most nutritious. So I feel also that the nutrition starts from when you're pregnant. So what do you advise for women who are just trying to stay healthy for a healthy pregnancy? And also the baby is getting a lot of whatever you're eating. So you want to keep it as healthy and as many different flavors as you can.
We have a great section in the book for foods that you can eat when you're expecting. And these can be from things, because when you're pregnant, I don't know what you experience with your kids, but some people have severe morning sickness. Mm-hmm. And that can last beyond their first trimester. Some people have other things they're dealing with, like intense cravings for things that they never enjoyed or liked before, aversion to things like fish or shellfish. So your tastes do change. So what we did with the cookbook is we created, kind of the two categories that I think that a lot of moms can relate to. Either when you're intensely craving something or when you're intensely averse to food. Mm-hmm. And there is Lila joining us.
Hi, Lila. Meet Zachary.
So it really is what we wanted to do. We did some comfort foods that are full of nutrition but light on the tummy. We did some drinks that you can take, some easy options too, because you forget that, the exhaustion of pregnancy, especially a first pregnancy, you want to keep things simple. You want to have ready to go options, things that you can take with you to work. So we try to make the best use of getting the full round of nutrition in, but also making it accessible, making it easy for a mom who's adding a whole another aspect to her life that she hasn't had yet.
And it's so important. And I think that's why it all really does start with nutrition. So we have to wrap, but tell me really quickly again, the Ultimate New Mom's Cookbook. You can get it on Amazon, right?
Correct. You can buy it on Amazon. It comes in two forms. If you're someone who enjoys ebooks, you can get it that way. And it also comes in a paperback that's fully illustrated with color photos of almost every recipe.
Great. I look forward to checking it out. Aurora Satler, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy.
Passport Mommy with Michelle Jerson. Motherhood is a journey. Joining you on your greatest adventure, here's Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy.
I love to travel. I always talk about travel whenever I can. But, when you have a 4-month-old and a 2.5-year-old, it's hard to travel far away. So I'm thrilled that I found the Rocking Horse Ranch. I actually discovered the ranch probably 2 years ago when my daughter was 6 months old. We were driving through and we just took a tour of the property and I thought, I have to go back here one day. So we did. And we went back a couple of weeks ago and had a blast. And on the line with me, I have Steve Turk. He is the president and CEO with his wife, Shelly, who is the co-owner of the Rocking Horse Ranch. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Good. So thank you so much for having us. We had such a great time, so many activities. And I know that while you're obviously known for the horses, having the largest herd on your ranch, you could tell me all about that. You had so many activities even for just my 2.5-year-old.
Well, that's where we are really going to be focusing on over the next 2 years is making sure that not just that 10, 11, 12, 13, or 14-year-old is satisfied, which we hope we're hitting that market, is making sure that the families that bring the 2 and 3 and 4-year-olds, there's plenty for them to do. And that is the specific aim of our reinvestment focus over the next several years.
Right, which is great because you have generations coming to visit all at once, from great-grandparents to the great-grandkids. Because tell me a little bit about the history of the property.
Well, it was founded by my father, God bless him, Nathan Tooley Turk. He came from the Lower East Side of Manhattan. He worked dude ranches in between his window washing business in New York City. And
Incredible.
He loved horses. As the lore goes, when he was all of about 8 or 9 years old, he stole the Iceman's horse. So remember, back then in the 20s, early 30s, still had a horse-drawn conveyance for a lot of the utilities that serviced homes and businesses in the city of New York.
Right.
And he was smitten with horses. So fast forward, him working in a family business himself of window washing, it was just not for him. So he went out and struck out and worked at various dude ranches. And it was a proliferation of dude ranches in the teens and the 20s and the 30s, a lot more than you see now. I mean, there were at least 24 between northern Jersey and Hudson Valley of New York, right up to the Lake George region. It's fascinating.
Incredible.
Yeah. So he struck out on his own with my mom. He met my mom at a dude ranch called Triple Lake Dude Ranch in Succossana, New Jersey. And there they decided that they were going to find their own property, which they did. And this was the Freedman's Shady Lawn Rest boarding house at the time. And it had a history all to its own, where during the Prohibition era, a lot of the gangsters, including Legs Diamond and Dutch Schultz, which kind of most people have heard of, would frequent, especially after their heists, right? So after they would pull some kind of crime caper, they would come up to the Hudson Valley, come up to Ulster County, specifically staying here at the Freedman's Shady Lawn Rest, and chill out with their families. So as Prohibition ended, properties like this didn't quite stay in business. The Catskill resorts were just in development. They stumbled upon this. My mom and dad decided to turn Freedman's into the Rocking Horse Ranch, opening their doors in Memorial Day, 1958.
And I met your mom, Gloria, while I was horseback riding. And I thought, how amazing that she is still so involved with the resort and still riding most days.
She rides just about every day, Michelle. It's incredible. She's turning 83. And, we're very happy that she's this active. She still swims every day, too.
Incredible. That's why she looks so good. I couldn't believe it. I said, who is this amazing woman behind me on the horse?
Mom.
Incredible. Yeah. Wow. So the resort itself. So tell me a little bit about you having the greatest herd in the world. You have over 110 horses. We're
up to about 115 right now.
Wow.
Well, it's my father's passion has transcended. We love what we do. We love our horses. We believe we take phenomenal care of them. We're noted to take care of them. We have a wonderful relationship with not one but two of the premier veterinarian services in the Hudson Valley. I'm up in the barn every single day now, inspecting the care and the feeding, the grooming of the horses, the shoeing. And they are our, it is our primary theme here is what we do with that herd, with the greatest herd in the world. We go out, we put out sometimes 7 or 8 rides a day. And because our guests like to ride. Listen, we offer unlimited riding, and we want to stand behind our word. We want people to get out there and enjoy our fantastic scenery. The woods are beautiful this time of year. The leaves are turning. So what a wonderful time to be on horseback in the woods.
Oh, yeah. And to go to a ranch that offers unlimited horseback riding, you don't find that, it's very rare, number one. And number two, one that is so family friendly, because I've been to other dude ranches and they have nice amenities and some of these all-inclusives are great, but they're not so family friendly.
Oh, good. And I'm glad you felt that way upon your visit. So that is important. We get kids up, even if we do what we call the pony rides, which are really our retired horses. And one thing I have to just mention involving our horse care is once a horse makes it, so we vet check them when we're purchasing a horse. We do this very stringent pre-purchase exam, and then they have basically a 2 to 3 month period of time where they've really got to show us that they can work with the rest of the herd, that there's no other hidden illnesses that we're aware of. But once they make that period, they're with us for life. It's a commitment we make to the herd. And next time you're up, we're going to go over to the retirement pasture. I'll introduce you to some of the horses that have been here going on 40 some odd years. Pretty cool.
That is very cool. Yeah. And they know that this is home, and they have their friends, and they have their horses that they're going to see every day. And to know that they are home.
They see their friends as they're going to work?
Yeah, they do. I mean, look, I was told when I went on the horses, they were like, well, your horse is friends with that horse, and she needs to be behind that one. I thought, okay.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. They're in a big pasture at night. And Shelley and I, we live literally in the center of the horse pasture. So I'll show you next time you visit. So we see them. They come up. They greet us on our way in, and we see them on the way out.
That's terrific.
It's good. Yeah. No,
and I think
it just worked out well.
Definitely. And I think the fact that you and Shelley are so involved, and I know the last time when I just did the quick walkthrough, and this time, I mean, I see you working. And I said to my husband, I said, wow, for somebody who owns this, you'd think he'd have other people, doing a lot of the work. And my husband said, no, he's got to make sure that everything is the way he wants it and is running smoothly.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate that. And it's a labor of love. We really do enjoy it.
Yeah. And in addition to the greatest herd that you have, so some of the other activities that we were talking about, tell me a little bit about the expansion and what you're going to be adding to the resort.
So we are in the throes of a major expansion. This is actually our largest ever, since ever. We're literally building a mini outdoor water park, and it's not so mini. That whole outdoor aquatics complex that you visited is totally demolished. They're preparing for a year-round mineral springs. That'll be about 95, 96 degrees, if not warmer, open year-round. And then not one but two outdoor aquatic venues. One will have all the water slides and like a little beach entry, what we call a zero entry. So it's there's no steps.
Right.
And then the kids' pool will also have this zero beach entry with a water slide attached to itself and all kinds of fun interactive valves and waterfalls. So we're really going for it. We want, and we'll keep that open, by the way, from the middle of May to the end of September. This way people can use it. All the water will be heated, and we're just so excited about it. And of course, if you go to rockinghorseranch.com, for any listeners, you'll see it. We have a video that was done just for us of what this new attraction is going to look like at Rocking Horse Ranch.
Oh, my gosh. I can't wait. And the fact that you're going to have, and the 95-degree mineral hot spring, how great will that be after people ride all day?
Yes, after they ride all day, and they can get into that area from the building. There'll be like a swim in and swim out portion of that. So we're really excited. And if all goes well, that should be open, no problems, before Martin Luther King weekend. So we're excited. We are very excited.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow. Yeah. And because it is such a great place to come also during the winter, because your horses still do ride in the winter, right? Barring.
Yes, year round. Yeah. Oh, they love it. And out in the woods in the wintertime is magnificent, Michelle. It is beautiful. When the leaves come off, the woods just take on a whole other personality. You see the deer, you see some fox. It's just beautiful in the woods. And when the snow falls, there's nothing like it. And we run the horse-drawn sleigh ride when the snow falls as well.
Oh, that's fun. And you also have, what is it called? I did it without the snow, that tube that comes down the really long
mountain tubing.
slide.
So,
yes.
Right. So mountain tubing goes year round. But basically what happens is once we start making snow, and last year we made snow right after Thanksgiving weekend, we close the mountain tubing and we open up snow tubing. And it is cool, it's fun, and it's fast, which also runs from morning right to the evening, to the evening hours. So once that winter fun park opens, we teach snow skiing. We offer beautiful equipment. We have a relationship with K2 Skis. It's all modern, new equipment that's ready to go. So we're excited. The snowmaking equipment is out. The snow groomers are out. So we're putting the final touches on our winter fun park as well.
Yeah, sounds terrific. And I have to say that one part that I absolutely enjoyed was your kids club, because it gave me the opportunity to do an activity or two with my husband, to go riding, to go partake in, some of the tennis or the bungee that you have, the bungee jumping. And it's really nice because the people with the kids club who work there are so wonderful with the children. And I was able to drop off my 2.5-year-old and my 4-month-old and do some things for myself, which doesn't always happen on vacation.
Oh, wonderful. And listen, all of these activities, this is all included, whether it's the bungee, the mountain tubing, the horse-drawn sleigh ride, the snow tubing, the skiing. Every time somebody goes to these, families go to these other properties, these are typically add-ons. Everything here is included with the rate of stay.
Which is great, because once you get somewhere, especially when you're already managing kids, you don't want to have to think about, okay, what does this cost? What is that? Pulling out your wallet. Once you get there, that's it. Food is great. The meals are terrific. Buffet, breakfast and lunch, sit down dinner, all you can eat, the game room, the shows, the entertainment at night. Really, it's such a blast. And I have to thank you. It was my child's birthday, both of theirs kind of birthday. And we thought, we'll tell them we'll have a little song sung. And the big balloons that came to the table, I couldn't believe. It was really special. It was very nice what you do.
Well, we will see you again, I'm sure. And we'll take a ride over to the retirement pasture and say hello to the older guys. It's kind of cool. It's a little bit of sentimental feeling in that. And, we're excited.
Yeah, no, I think it's terrific. The horses have been there a while, generations that come. I mean, just looking in the dining room, seeing all the different generations that come to the resort, it really is wonderful. So tell me again, you're located in Highlands, New York.
Highland, New York, strategically located in the beautiful Hudson Valley, which is magnificent. This time of year, the leaves, the trees, it's just gorgeous. It's autumn in the Hudson Valley. You can't ask for better.
No, you can't.
It's really beautiful, and we're so strategically located from West Point to the beautiful mountain, the Shawangunk Ridge. There's just so much to see up here. The Culinary Institute, and incidentally, all our lead chefs in the kitchen are all CIA or Culinary Institute of America graduates, by the way.
Oh, yep. Amazing. More information, you can go to rockinghorseranch.com. Steve Turk, thank you so much for joining me. And again, thank you so much for having me to the resort, Rocking Horse Ranch. You have to check it out. No matter how old you are, no matter how old your kids, you won't have a better time anywhere else, especially if you love horseback riding. I'm Michelle Jerson. You're listening to Passport Mommy. More coming up in a few.
Motherhood is a journey. Joining you on your greatest adventure, here's Michelle Jerson, the Passport Mommy.
Talking with Marshall Stevenson, dad and comic in New York City. And Marshall, you were telling me that your daughter is transitioning into a new room in the house, in the apartment.
Yeah, we're all turned upside down, and it's very difficult. It's like moving. It's terrible. It's like I was going to say when you teased this segment, you said, I don't know, should we do it? Should we bring her to them? I'm like, no, you do not have 168 hours to spare to get everything set and new furniture or what fits where, and it takes a long time. So help me. How should I do this?
Well, so you're transitioning her because you had made a nice little room for her, which was kind of like a hallway in your house, but you really made it very doable. So now she's moving into another space. What type of furniture do you have for her? Because this is a big debate that my husband and I have. I feel that they should have proper furniture and a nice room that a kid can look at, nicely decorated, all that. And he's like, they don't need any of that now. It's fine. Her white walls are fine. It doesn't matter. She doesn't need furniture now.
Oh, well, I don't know. Well, no, I think that anywhere you live, it should be nice. It affects your mood and stuff. It shouldn't be stark. But that said, I mean, white walls is probably the color of the wall we're going to have in there. But you mean with nothing on the wall?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I know your walls are painted with beautiful artwork from your wife, and so he just feels that you don't necessarily need a full bedroom set yet with furniture and all that type of stuff.
Oh, well, I'm a big proponent of doing with the furniture you have. Like I'm not a big proponent of like spending money on new furniture. But I think whatever furniture you have, you can decorate and make nice and put up pictures and yeah, no, matching sets so the bed matches the bureau. I'm probably with him.
Okay.
Why?
So
is there a third choice beyond you've got to buy matching stuff and it looking terrible? Is there a third choice, like making do with what you have, but like making it nice also?
Yeah, like that I think I could live with, obviously, and that would be nice. I just want to make it, I'm more concerned with making like a theme or just a nice place where they can go into, whether there's animals on the wall or a world map on the wall that we can, just something to make it like a kid's room.
Yeah, I think the stuff that's going to stimulate them that they can look at. We're dealing with the whole, because we live in New York City, so we have a very small place. This is going to be a small room. Like, if you have bookcases, you could put toys in, but then you can't reach the top shelves.
Right.
So how do you have everything sort of accessible, and how do you, say, well, some stuff she could ask me to get, and some stuff... it's actually, people think they have problems out there. These are real problems. Where do we put, on what shelf should the Play-Doh go? Can it go a little higher? Can she say, Daddy, can you get the Play-Doh for me, or should it be at her level?
Right.
I don't know. These are difficult questions, so help me out.
Oh, I'm supposed to help you out with that.
You went totally different place with you got to match the bed to the wall and that stuff. And the theme, I don't know. We may be like...
I just want it to feel like a kid's room. That's all I'm saying. So how is she doing with it? Is she excited to be moving into her new room?
Well, it's funny. It was my wife's studio, but she spent so much time in there. We said, sweetheart, we're going to make you a new room. And she said, this is going to be your room. And she says, that already is my room.
Oh, well, that's nice.
So that's good. No, she wants to sleep in there. We're gonna do it in concert with getting out of the crib. Now we're probably pretty late to get rid of the crib, but it didn't seem to be an issue because the crib was right outside our door, and so we're gonna transition to a regular bed.
Oh, that's exciting too. We haven't done that yet either. And we keep talking about that along with the potty training. And I said to my husband the other day, I said, I feel like we're so far behind. I was like, and is it that we just don't want to do it? That we're resisting change because we haven't taken the time to do the potty training yet, which next time we should talk about how that's going for you, because we had touched on that the other week. And I'm curious to see how she's doing with that. But
it's a wonder how any adults are potty trained and off the bottle and out of cribs, because this is the worst part of having a child, having to say, no, we've got to do it this way. No, I don't want to. So,
I know. Everything is no mom, no mom, no mom. First of all, it breaks my heart that she's went from mommy to mom. And then when you add no onto it, it's just not really what I want to hear. Marshall Stevenson, thank you so much again for joining me today on this show. I wish we had more time, but I'm sure we'll talk to you again next week. And I do want to hear the potty training update. Thank you so much for listening to the show today. Don't forget, you can always email me, Michelle@passportmommy.com, if there's a topic that you would like to talk about, or maybe something that's going on in your world. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll talk to you soon.